Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the DaVinci Resolve Essential Tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 6. Then here we will be understanding about the inspector panel in details. Okay, I'll tell you guys how you can actually zoom in, zoom out. Okay, now which is basically the scaling, position it accordingly, and also stabilize your video if you do have any unstable video over here. Okay, we'll be understanding about all of that here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time. Then let's get started with the chapter number 6 of understanding the inspector panel. So here again back at the same workspace which I was working on. Okay, so now let me just transfer few of this file, okay, over to my panel over here. Okay, so from here I will import this files. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am just importing this file over here. Bring this. Okay, and here you guys can see I do have a footage here on my screen. Okay, then you guys can see the total duration of this thing is 24 seconds and 21 frames over here. Okay, so now as I do have this particular footage, what I want to do is I just want to cut this particular part. Okay, so maybe from here I just want to give this a cut first. So I will just give this thing a cut somewhere over here. Okay, and as you guys can see, I have give them a cut over here. Again with A, select the selection tool and delete this extra part which I do have here. I'll delete this part here as well and bring this thing somewhere over here. Okay, so from here now what I want to do is I want to come here in my inspector panel, and once I come here in the inspector panel, okay, before that what I want to do is I just want to get a single viewer mode and now come to the inspector panel. So here under the transform option, okay, so let me I have told you guys before, like the small things, okay, like just a brief of what these things are. Okay, so let's try to understand this thing in detail now. Okay, so in transform it's about just scaling in, scaling out. So here you guys can see this is about scaling. So if you're familiar with any other video editing software, you guys might know about this. Okay, so here you guys can also see that I do have a small icon. Okay, so as you guys can see, if I am scaling this thing up, okay, it's scaling up according or it's scaling up proportionally. Okay, but if I just zoom this thing out, okay, so here it's scaling down proportionally here as well. Okay, but if from here if I just click directly on this particular place as well, I will be able to do those things from here. Okay, so from here also if you want to do some controlling, you guys can do some controllings over here as well. Okay, so now let me select this thing. Okay, otherwise instead of selecting here, what you can also do is you can come here and you can actually zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so these are a few of the features. You can just also drag in, drag out from here. Okay, if you just unlink this one, if I just change this, okay, it will be changed only the y-axis. Okay, and from here it will just change the x-axis. So if I just want to reset my frame again the way it was, I can just click here in this icon, as you guys can see on the right hand side. Okay, I can just click here and again it is just being the same. Okay, so from here what I can do is if I just want to fit this thing up, I can just fit this thing up over here again. So now here comes the positioning. They're asking me where do I want to position my frame. Okay, so here I can just move the x-axis, and from here if I want to change the y-axis, I can change the y-axis from here. And if I just want to get back the same thing, okay, I can just click here in this particular icon. So now the next thing comes the rotation angle. Okay, so if I want to give this thing any rotation, I can just come here and give this frame a rotation according to myself. Okay, so if I just come here, okay, I can also give some rotation. Okay, 360 degree is just a total turn. So what I can do is I will just go back to 0 again. Okay, so this is how you guys can also give this thing rotation. Okay, so now let's see if you want to flip your frame. Suppose if I come here, if I just want to flip this frame, okay, so from here you guys will be able to flip this thing quite like this, and also kind of like this as well. Vertically and horizontally you guys will be able to flip this thing out. Okay, and here if you want to crop also, you guys will be able to crop here from here. Okay, if you want to crop this thing from the left, okay, so come here and you guys can do some cropping here from the left. If I just want this much frame over here, okay, I can do the cropping. If you want to crop it from the right, you guys can do the cropping from the right. Again, if you want to change it, you guys can actually change it. If you want to crop a little bit from the top, you guys can crop it from the top over here. If you want to crop this thing from the bottom, you guys will be able to crop this thing from the bottom as well. Okay, so here you guys can see the sharpness is too much. Okay, so I have did some cropping over here, but here the frame sharpness is too much. Okay, so here you guys can see the sharpness is too much. So if I come here and if I want to do the smoothness, okay, so here you guys can see a little bit of smoothness. Okay, so if I just come here 100%, so here you guys can see how the smoothness actually works. Okay, if you guys just notice on the side of my screen, okay, so I'll just bring this thing above kind of like this, and here you guys can see on the edges I do have this softness. Okay, so here if I want to retain the image position, I can actually retain the image position from here. If I don't want to retain the image position, I can just click over here as well. So for now I will just retain the image position, and if you want to use the dynamic zoom, okay, you guys can actually use the dynamic zoom from here. Okay, so is in, is out. Okay, so from here you guys can do that. If you want to swap this thing, okay, so there is a linear option, okay, and there is ease in, ease out, ease in and ease out option from here as well. Okay, so you guys can just swap this thing up and see which one looks better. Okay, so we can do some dynamic zoom over here. Okay, and now if I just come here, okay, so if I come here for the smart reframing, we can just reframe using the AI. Okay, so if I just click here, it might take some time. So here I have done the smart reframing. Okay, so here they're asking me object of interest. Okay, so if I just want to add any reference point, okay, so I can just add a reference point over here. If I just want to increase the size of this thing, I can just do that. And now if I reframe, okay, it might take some time. So yeah, now this thing is basically done. And as you guys can see on my screen now, if I play this one here, okay, if I just go back to this position, okay, so now you will be able to see that it have reframed it accordingly, okay, where I have choose the reference point. Okay, so you guys can actually click on auto, but for me I don't use the smart reframe that much. Okay, so I forgot to tell you about one thing. Okay, this is the pitch and the yaw. Okay, so using the pitch we can just get this thing kind of like this. We can just flip it over quite like this. And if I don't want this one, I can just again come back, and using the yaw, it will just give you the side views kind of like this. If you want to add this thing, okay, you guys can use a little bit of yaw over here. Okay, so this is about that. And now I have already told you about the dynamic zoom. Okay, so now let's come to the composition. Okay, so now if I come here, suppose if I just put this particular icon on top over here, okay, I will just bring this thing down, okay, my playhead over here, and as you guys can see, I do have this particular frame. Okay, so again I will come up over here, so I will just zoom this thing down, and what I want to do is I just want to come here, I want to put it over somewhere here, and now as you guys can see, I do have this particular logo over here. What I want to do is I just want to position it here in one side. Okay, so I will just keep this thing here on top. Okay, and now I will just decrease the size of this particular thing here as well. Okay, move the x-axis. Okay, and just go on top a little bit over here. Okay, so this is about that. Okay, so this one, if I want to, actually you can see this is the white color over here. Okay, so composition, if you're familiar or if you have used Photoshop before, you guys might be familiar with the blending options. Okay, so from here, basically as I have selected this one, so I do have all the things related to this one over here. Okay, so I can just change the opacity. Okay, you guys can see once we put any watermark in our video, we don't want it to be that visible. Okay, so I can just increase or decrease the opacity from here. So now suppose this one is 100% and I do have different blending modes. So here you guys can see mostly which I do use is the add and the darken one. Okay, so the darken one, what it will do is it will just take out the part. Okay, so from here, as you guys can see, now I'm not able to see anything if I want to divide. Okay, if I select this one, and now here you guys can see I do have this watermark here in one corner. Okay, so from here, if I come right to this option again, okay, if I select the speed change, if I want to fast this video up, okay, so if I want to make it 28 frames per second, okay, you guys will be able to see that I have made this video quite slow. Okay, so now this video is quite slow over here. If I come, okay, so if I just increase the speed, okay, so now if I just increase the speed, here you guys will be able to see I have increased the speed of this particular video over here. And here you guys can see once I am increasing the speed, the duration of my video is decreasing. Okay, so if you want to do that, you guys will be able to do that. Or suppose you want to change, you just want this video to be of 10 seconds. In that case, you guys will be able to do that from here as well. Okay, so you will be able to do this thing from here. Okay, and how you want your video to be played. Okay, do you want it to play from right to left, or if you want your video to be played from the from the left to right, or you want to play your video in a reverse position, you guys will be able to do that using this thing. Okay, and there is another option. Okay, you guys can also use that. Okay, so I just want to play my video somewhat from the left to the right. Okay, and everything else looks fine. Okay, so now I hope you guys have understood this part. So now here if I come to the stabilization option, okay, so now let me just play this video for you again. Okay, so here you guys can see the frame is kind of unstable at this point, and here you guys can see the logo which I have put over here. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just come up over here in the stabilization option. Suppose if I take both of this frame together, and I will come here, and now I will go to the stabilization option. So there are different modes which you can use. Okay, and the cropping ratio you can check out. Okay, so if you want to smooth things down, you guys can do that. Okay, so for me, I just need to click on here the stabilize. Okay, so it will, if I do have a shaky video, in that case what it will do is it will just stabilize my video to some extent. Okay, so now I will just click on the stabilize. It might take some time over here. Okay, so now here you guys can see now I have just stabilized this thing, and now let's try to play this video again from here. Okay, so this particular clip is stabilized to some extent over here. Okay, as you guys are able to see. Okay, so this one is stabilized to some extent over here. Okay, and you can also just lock the camera from here, and you won't be able to change anything. If you wanna change anything, if you wanna smooth down anything over here, you guys can smooth it. Okay, if you wanna decrease the strength from here, you guys will be able to decrease the strength. And this one is the lens correction. Okay, so you guys can analyze that one. Okay, if you want to work with retime and scaling, we'll be learning later. Okay, and this is the super scaling option if you want to scale things down to a lot of extent. Okay, noise reduction, sharpness, the super scaling option is there. You guys can on it and use it over here as well. Okay, so this was all about the inspector panel for the video. Okay, if you do have an audio, I'll show you the audio after this. Okay, if you do put some effects, transitions, which we'll be learning. Okay, if you put any image right around here, okay, instead of the video panel, if you put it somewhere over to this one. Okay, so if you just come here, if you want to put this on top over here, okay, you guys will be able to do that. So let me just play this thing out, and here it will not look great. So what I can do is I can come up here. Otherwise, I can just click on Control Z again. And here I have placed this thing accordingly. Okay, so I can do all of this. And from here, I can actually see the file. Okay, so here I will be able to see the file over here. Okay, you guys can see the frame rate, the resolution. Okay, and now let me just add this particular audio. Okay, so now I will just play this audio and let's see how it actually sounds. And what I want to do is I just want to crop this audio. I will just mark in from here. And now I will just take this bit front over here and I'll just mark out. Okay, and now what I'll do is I will just take this particular audio and I will put it somewhere over here. Okay, so I will just take this particular audio, keep this one over here, and I will just trim this down from this side as well. Okay, and I need to make sure I do have my snapping on. Okay, so I do have my audio over here. And once I choose my audio, from here I can basically select the volume, how I want my volume. Okay, so here if I just increase it, you guys can hear the volume now. And from here, if I just want to increase or decrease the pan, okay, so this is how it sounds right now. Okay, and now if I just increase the pan, okay, so here you guys can see the or hear the difference over here. Okay, if you want to change the speed of this music as well, you guys will be able to change the music of the speed as well. Okay, and from here you guys will be able to change the semitone. So here, okay, so here you guys can listen how it sounds right now. If you want to go back, you guys can go back. And now if I want to change the sense, okay, you guys will be able to do that from here as well. Okay, so now if I want to use the equalizer, I can also come here and I can work individually with this equalizer over here. Okay, so here you guys can see the frequency. Over here, you guys can check all these things out. So if you want to work kind of like this, okay, and now if you want to play this thing up, okay, you guys can just play things up from here as well. Okay, and if you want to bring this thing down again over here, okay, you guys can bring down the audio effects here as well. Okay, so from here, you can also decrease or increase the volume according to yourself. Okay, so from here also, as you guys can see this particular line over here. Okay, and another thing, like if you are selecting any video, okay, suppose you are selecting these videos over here. Okay, in that case, what you can also do is, suppose I will just deselect this one. Okay, now I have selected only both of this layer. And what I can also do is, if I want to link this one, okay, or I will come here and I'll just link this clip. So if I select this one, okay, I will be able to select this part here as well. Okay, so let me just come here, right click, and if I want to link this clip, okay, I will be able to link this clip from here. Okay, as you guys can see. Okay, So right now, let's understand this part, okay? So if you wanna crop anything down, okay, just select that particular clip from here, come here. If you wanna transform this one, here you guys can see I do have the transform option from where inside this particular frame, I can just work. Okay, if I wanna decrease or move this thing around, okay, I can just move this thing around over here. And if you wanna know about the anchor point, okay, so basically anchor point is this middle part which I have over here. Okay, I can just move around my anchored point. Okay, if I just want to bring oily part over here, okay, you guys can do that. Okay, and now let's see for this dynamic zoom over here. Okay, if I select the linear option, and now if I come here, okay, suppose I will select this part, okay, and now I will come here. If I want to do the dynamic zoom from here, okay, I can come here, and suppose I just want to zoom this particular part, okay, zoom this part, and now I want to zoom out to this point. Okay, so in that case, what I will be able to do is, now here you guys can see the more or the bigger the footage is, it will kind of look like that. Okay, so here you guys can see it's just zooming in, okay, and it will just zoom out here. Okay, so this is the difference over here for the dynamic zoom. Okay, you guys can basically work over here in this particular frame as well. Okay, if you want to crop anything down, you guys can also crop it here from the screen. Okay, suppose if you want to crop anything down, you guys can also crop it here from the screen and click on enter. You guys will now be able to see this particular frame over here. Okay, as I have cropped this thing down. Okay, but now here again I am able to see things out. Okay, so this is about the cropping here as well. If you want to get back the same frame size, okay, you guys will be able to get back the same frame size here as well. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood this class on the inspector panel. I try to explain each and everything in detail about the inspector panel. I have explained you guys about the dynamic zoom. Okay, so there are different options which we can also use. Okay, so I have shown you guys the two boxes here in the dynamic. If you want to transform, you guys can transform. Okay, move around the keyframes. Okay, so in next class, we will be learning how you can actually use transition effects in this particular application. So hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then,